Hey everybody, welcome to this edition of Dubro 101. Just because it's getting a little bit colder outside, that does not mean that you have to lock yourself in your workshop until springtime. As a matter of fact, a little bit of snow on the runway gives us a good excuse to enjoy our airplanes in a different way. All you have to do is swap your wheels for skis. Keep watching and I'll show you how to do it. Dubro produces two different models of snow skis. We have the standard Snowbird Snow Skis and then the Park Flyer Snow Skis. Now, there are no hard and fast rules about the size of models that these can be used on, but generally speaking, the Snowbird Snow Skis can be used on airplanes as small as maybe 20 ounces, all the way up to models weighing as much as 8 pounds. The Park Flyer Snow Skis are good for airplanes weighing up to about 30 ounces. You'll notice that there's a little bit of overlap in these applications. Both types of skis have very similar mounting methods, but there are some slight differences, so I'll start off by showing you how to mount the Park Flyer Snow Skis, and I'll use this ultimate biplane as an example. Inside the package for the Park Flyer Snow Skis, you will find the skis themselves, a pair of springs, and also a set of wheel collars that are designed to be used on axles that are 1/16 of an inch in diameter. If the axles on your model are larger than 1/16 of an inch, you will also need a set of wheel collars that accommodate your axles. The axles on this Ultimate are made of 3mm bolts, so I am using a set of 1/8 inch or 3.2mm diameter wheel collars. The first step is to drill out the hubs of the skis. These holes should match the diameter of the axles on your model. So in this case, I am using a 3mm diameter drill bit. Notice that there are dimples in the plastic to help you center the holes correctly. Now, remove the wheels from your model and store them in a safe place. You won't be needing them for a few months. The ski kit also includes two 1/2-inch long 440 bolts. These bolts should be used instead of the standard set screws on two of the wheel collars. And these wheel collars will be combined with the springs to set the correct orientation of the skis on your airplane. So the next step is to place one of the wheel collars with the 440 bolt on the axle of the model. Now it's time to install the spring. And note that the two included springs are not identical. Rather, they are mirror images of each other, and you want to be sure that you install this correct spring on each ski. To do that, place the U-shaped part of the spring on the inside of the axle with the long arm facing forward. Place the ski onto the axle, making sure that the long arm of the spring is placed on top of the rear portion of the ski. You also want to make sure that you secure the ski into place. In this case, because I have a threaded axle, I'm using a washer with a 3mm lock nut. On a smooth axle, you would use a wheel collar with a standard set screw. Once you have both skis mounted onto the axles, you need to verify that the skis are oriented correctly. You want the flat part of the skis to be parallel with the wings. In other words, when the airplane is flying straight and level, you want the skis to be level as well, or maybe slightly nose up. The position of the skis is determined by the position of the wheel collars. You'll notice that as you spin the wheel collar on the axle, the ski spins with it. So manually position the ski in the desired position and then tighten the wheel collar to lock everything into place. With small models such as this, it is not usually necessary to replace the tail wheel with the ski. Just keep the tail wheel in place and you should be fine. But before you hit the snow, you should check a couple of other things. First of all, verify that you still have adequate propeller clearance. Also, check to make sure that your model's center of gravity is still correct. Now that we've covered techniques for mounting the Park Flyer Snow Skis, I want to go over some strategies for mounting the larger Snowbird Snow Skis. Our example model is another tail dragger, but these skis can also be used on airplanes with tricycle landing gear. Dubro sells these skis as pairs for the main gear and also in singles to be used on the nose gear. Not only that, but you can buy them in the black color that you see here, but also in blue, green, yellow, and red. So let's get started. Much like the Park Flyer skis, this set includes the skis themselves, matching springs, a set of wheel collars, and two bolts to be used in place of set screws on two of the wheel collars. Of course, the first step is to remove the wheels from your model. The Snowbird skis are pre-drilled to accept axles that have a diameter of 5/32 of an inch. That's a very popular size on RC models. If your axles are larger than that, you will need to carefully drill out the hole to the correct size. You will also need to obtain wheel collars that are the proper size. If your axles are smaller than that, you will want to build up the diameter of the axle either by adding aluminum tubing, brass tubing, or even heat shrink tubing. The axles on this Cub are slightly undersized, so I'll be building them up with heat shrink tubing, and we'll get to that in just a minute. The first step is to add the inner wheel collars. Now I'm going to take a piece of 1/4 inch heat shrink tubing, slide it over the axle, and then shrink it down. With this tubing in place, the axle is now a nice snug fit for the ski. The heat shrink, however, should not be wider than the ski, so trim away any excess. Now locate your springs. Remember that the springs are mirror images of each other. You want the one that, when placed over the axle, has the long straight portion towards the rear and on the inside, and the looped portion on the outside and to the front. Now, take your wheel collar with the bolt in place of a set screw, and place the bolt under the loop of the spring, and the wheel collar over the axle. Once things are in position, you'll need to lift the spring a little bit to get everything into place. Now, push against the spring to lift the bolt and snug it into place, but do not tighten it all the way. Now you need to correctly orient the skis. Again, you want the flat part of the skis to be level when the airplane is flying level. So manually position the ski where it should be, and note the position of the wheel collar and the bolt. Hold the bolt and wheel collar and flex the spring to move the ski out of the way and give you access to tighten the bolt. Tighten the bolt fully. And be sure to put a little bit of thread locker on this bolt before tightening it down. Once you have the skis in place, double check to make sure you still have adequate propeller clearance. We look good here. Also double check to make sure that the airplane balances correctly. Now that you see just how easy it is to put skis on almost any model, you have no excuse for staying locked up in your workshop all winter long. So thanks for watching, and be sure to check out our other Dubro 101 videos.